So this next presentation is going to be, are you guys familiar with like sales letters and like what we were talking about, like long form sales letters, video sales letters, like you land on a page and it's just a white background with like text playing? Those are super powerful. They make people a lot of money. But I'm kind of, in my opinion and experience, I believe Instagram is like a revolving sales letter. And I coined a term a long time ago because Ty Lopez, if you guys aren't familiar with Ty, does everybody know Ty Lopez? Like, when he first kind of started making a splash onto the social media scene with his big YouTube video and his Instagram following, he got a lot of hate. Everybody assumed he was faking it. Everybody thought that it was like, who is this scam? Like, you know, he's leasing his, or he rented his house. He doesn't actually own these cars. Well, over time, he became very credible because of Instagram stories. He never actually had to talk about living in a big mansion because all of his stories were filmed in a big mansion. All of his stories were filmed driving a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, nice cars. He didn't have to boast about it because it was his lifestyle. So when I started really thinking about that, I kind of started, how could you integrate that into Instagram and what it is? Because Instagram is a revolving sales letter. All of your pictures, like we just talked about, the psychology behind the photos you're putting out, the psychology behind the videos you're making, building authority, building credibility, creating engagement, building a connection. These are all principles that come from direct response and are in, are how sales letters and video sales letters are constructed. And you know, just this is very general, but a video sales letter generally starts with, or a sales page starts with a headline. Okay, so treating this, so you have your headline. That's number one. You know, I don't know what I was doing there. Right. So number one is a headline, basically a shock and awe. You can create a headline with your bio, or with, like, you look at mine. I help brands, businesses, and influencers rapidly create content that makes money. That is a headline. So if somebody lands on my page, they see my headline. Just like if they were to, you know, weird 3-second trick stops ED forever. 7 seconds, you know, the 7 foods to never eat. Those are headlines that people have used in successful VSLs and sales pages. Headline. Then next thing, usually in a sales letter, goes along the lines of, then you build credibility. Okay? If you've ever seen a sales letter, that usually starts with, hi, my name is Jan, and I have lost 75 pounds following the Weight Watchers system. Okay, she's credible. She's lost 75 pounds. She did it with some system. Or, you know, weird scientist discovers, you know, Amazon route to, you know, make people taller. And then it'll go into building credibility. So we discovered this. Credibility is usually intertwined with a story about the said product, that bold claim that was made in the headline. This keeps people reading, as in if you're treating it with Instagram, you're building credibility, you're posting photos of yourself in authoritative situations. You're posting photos of yourself practicing what you preach. You're posting photos of yourself looking like someone that people should follow. Credibility. Then the third is usually some sort of problem or agitation. So what problem? I mean, this is not like exactly how a sales letter would go, but you guys could get, yeah, it's a framework. So you would build credibility, then you agitate the problem. I agitate the problem by telling people how everybody's preaching that you need to create a lot of content, but nobody's telling you how to do it. Nobody's showing you the systems. Nobody's teaching you how to take your information and put it into a format that you can do it without going insane and spending hours making content. And then I agitate that problem all the time by continuing to remind people that, hey, everybody's talking about this, nobody's teaching this. Can you do this? Do you have a content calendar? Well, what's your content calendar look like? Can you post every day to Instagram? Can you do twice a day? That's me agitating a problem. You know, all of these, this comes in the form of, again, videos, pictures, captions, things that are posting on your Instagram. And fourth, you have the connection, like, which on sales pages and video sales letters comes usually in the form of, I was just like you. I remember when I didn't have the ability to rapidly create content, and because of that, I wasn't able to grow my following. I wasn't able to make money from my Instagram. I wasn't able to create a life, you know, with where I can do things for my family. It could be, you know, I was just like you. I had ED. My marriage was collapsing. I had just gotten a divorce. My kids hated me because I wasn't stepping up as a father. I was just like you. And introduce your offer. Because I was just like you, I started researching all these Chinese herbs, and I've concocted this thing. It's called Ultra Stack, or Ultra Stack 7000, and it is designed to rapidly help men cure ED, which in turn will give you a better life, a better relationship. Me, I've discovered this system. It's the 4 types of content that make, you know, authority, social proof, you know, engagement, and connection. Once you start doing that, once you put it into a content calendar, then you can free up your week. You can start doing this. You can do this for other people. You can start getting paid. You live an amazing life. You know. And then number 6, the close. Now, this is where things differentiate. This would usually come in the form of a giant green or red button on a page, usually green because psychology says green means go, or a blue. But this is like, and the close on Instagram and social media is different because it's usually, you know, it's more of a subtle close. You know, hey, if you want to know more about how to cure your ED, shoot me a DM and let's talk. I want to tell you my tips, you know, more tips on how to do this. You want to talk about how to lose 5 pounds or get your first muscle up, shoot me a DM. It's a little different, but this is a framework that is not, it's like tried and true. Like you can buy, Dan Kennedy has a book, The Ultimate Sales Letter. It's been around for fucking like 15 years, 20 years. Like dude wrote it when he was, you know, but it's a variation of this. I probably missed some parts there, but this is copyright, you know. And when you're doing this on your Instagram with all of your posts, it's a fucking sales letter on your Instagram. That is like the power, and you can do it more often, and you can constantly test things. You can constantly change. You know, you don't always have to have the same headline or bio link. You don't always have to use the same types of things to build credibility. Like, this is like, the more you can kind of think about everything you're doing as a revolving, a business card and a website for yourself to kind of showcase who you are, but show it as if you're a living sales letter. That's how you make sales. And that's when the follower count doesn't matter. It's the presence, it's the credibility, it's the authority, it's everything that you're building. Because if you had 100 people that follow you and 5 of them pay you $1,000 a month, do you give a shit that you only have 100 followers? Obviously, you're going to try to get more. I mean, it's a natural game that we're all playing, is trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But this is how people buy. This is like the psychology behind it. And the more you, I mean, I would urge you guys to really, you know, I'm not going to tell you to go handwrite sales letters and do that, but understand the principles of direct response marketing, because it's the same type of thing. It's just shifted the medium. This would usually come in the form of a 90-page like sales letter where you're just scrolling and scrolling and trying to find a button so you could buy. Or a video with a white background with text. Like, that's what you see. Like, this is still running if you go to websites. Like, I'm under the belief that this type of copywriting is not dying in any way. The principles are still 100% sound, but the formats in which people are buying, as the younger generation comes up, it's going to be different. Like, you would normally, the way you would get to a page with this type of structure would be through a banner ad or a link click. Well, I mean, do you click on banners? No. Exactly. Like, Savannah, do you click on banners? No. Like, it's super powerful, and the more like you can kind of break this down and constantly be doing this in your, like, you know, for example, like for you, for personal development, to build credibility, you can talk about, you know, your corporate job, doing this, coaching people on the side, to, you know, agitate the problem. Once you kind of discover what people are coming to you for, you know, why do they need the person? Why do they need the coaching? What problems do you solve for them? You just talk about that in your pictures and talk about it in your videos. The connection that just comes with you just living what you preach and showing them that you actually do this and that you're not just some dude lying to them on the internet. And then introduce your offer, which every once in a while remind them that you do coaching or remind them that you sell a supplement. And then the close is how, we'll talk about that later, as far as like, most of the closing on social media happens in the direct messages and in the stories. Most people don't just randomly click your bio link and go buy without talking to you. I mean, I know some people do make sales from the little highlights, you know, but when it's anything over a couple $100, chances are you're going to have to talk to somebody.